Yo, what is up? It's time to make some gloves and some boots for the Witcher MetaHuman person. And I spent yesterday, other than having a snow day with the family. Oh no, it went away. That's not what I wanted to do. What is this? Was it F? Or is it maximized? I can't tell. There it goes. Okay. There's like a couple different ways that you can do that in Photoshop. I got the new Maya, which actually took a lot longer to install than I thought it was going to. I thought I was gonna just getting this installed and getting NG Skin Tools installed and switching all my stuff over. It took like an hour longer than I was expecting it to. So I kind of just pushed things back too far, and then I never decided to actually work. But I got to play around in Maya 2022.1 now, which is nice. I mean, this is the way that this installs and everything. It's pretty nice now, and no crashes immediately, which is great. I don't know what version of Maya I had. It wasn't that long ago. It's a couple years ago, but I used to have like a legit version of Maya that when you started it, it crashed. Like, I don't know how that was possible. And it wasn't like an immediate crash, but like when you would start, it like wouldn't load one of the files correctly, and you would just get like a red error out of the gate in fresh install. That was fun. This is very new. I have never seen in an Adobe in an Autodesk program like this to actually have like a proper startup screen like this. This is how Cinetracer starts too. It looks like exact same colors. That's kind of interesting, and you can manage the project here immediately. That's just really nice. Appreciate that. This is a long load. This is a long. Wow. Oh, I see. Okay, this is booting this up. But yeah, today's not NG Skin Tools Day, but I've been messing around with that. This is probably half the reason I have this at the moment. Hey, what's up? You are. What do you want? But this was this is the main thing here, is for the rigging stuff that's in Maya. On top of just generally, I like modeling and UVing in this. Let's see. So I'm not really going to be doing this thing today, but switching to full Maya was a little different. So I kind of rebuilt one of my shelves here. Nothing crazy, but stuff that I like to have open. I did an FBX transfer over from MLT. You can't open Maya MLT files in full Mayas yet, or ever perhaps. I don't know. And we have like it's very different. I didn't realize how different like full production version of Maya was from MLT, but Maya Lite will get it done for sure. I mean, I made it this far, but we have Bifrost, and do I have full Arnold's for this too? That would be kind of cool. But I'm not really here to do rendering. Oh, it's red. I thought this is rigging. This is the rigging one. But that's cool. So I have the ability to use plugins now. That's the other main thing. So NG Skin Tools Python plugin. I imagine to do any of the MetaHuman custom stuff, also custom Python plugins. And then what else? Oh, to go bridge to Maya, I'm pretty sure is a plugin. And going to ZBrush and back and forth, also a plugin. So I can actually do all the right stuff now. And I have this, the component editor. So when it comes to rigging, it's basically going to be these two things. You know, stock Maya, you can do quite a bit. It's fine. But to do just more like, not even like advanced rigging, but just like nicer rigging, you need to have full Maya. And you want to kind of always have the component editor close by. And then NG Skin Tools basically gives you layered weight painting and a couple other tools that, especially when it comes to the MetaHumans, I think are basically necessary, unless you're like an advanced rigger already. Will you leave these videos up? Probably. The idea with this series was to leave it up, as this is like the first kind of like full character I'm going to produce, or skin I'm going to produce, that I think I'm doing relatively correctly. But we'll see. Basically, if I think that like the information is just like too roundabout or like just like dead ending a lot, I tend not to keep them. Whereas my other streams so far, they were pretty kind of just like live messing around in Marvelous and ZBrush, and I really wouldn't want anyone to follow them like too closely. But we have full Maya, and basically my entire character production pipeline revolves around Maya, which reflects pretty closely the game industry. What's up, Barcelona? So let's see. So what I need to get done today is I actually realized I need to get these little belts I made the last couple days. I don't remember. I need to put 2 under here, and then I would mirror it. But considering I've done that for quite a bit, and I've streamed the process of it, it's not any different. So I might do the off stream at some point. But we did these little details here. They're just mesh little toruses. But the real question is the glove. And so, this definitely has issues, and it's currently like stuck in the MetaHuman body. I'm not really sure what happened here, but now is perhaps the time to start sorting that out. So let's see what we have as far as these pieces. Let's take this, and okay, so here's the thing. There's 2 different ways of doing this. There's detach, and then there's extract. I don't remember the difference. That one's not it. So it's probably this one. There we go. Okay, so we'll delete this one. It's that one. I can't remember that. This is very importantly not delete all history. It's delete history of like basically what's selected, I hope. Oh, broke it into 3. That's nice. Okay, so basically look at these 2 pieces in solo. Oh, it was already in solo. So are there issues? There are. Okay, so this is just a zero mesh from ZBrush. It is not looped correctly for deformation, like rigging, but we're really just trying to get quads out of it so we can sculpt it. So this, I feel like this one got bumped or something. It's not even, everything else around it seems fine. If this was skinning mode, I'd like hammer skin weights this vert back into place, and it would kind of like go back here, hopefully. But this glove is kind of like in an okay place. It's just fairly high topology. So I didn't go and install GoZ. I really should. But I need to take a day and remember how GoZ works, actually. But I think what happens is you make a ZBrush project, you make a subtool, and then the subtool, individual subtool, can be sent back and forth to Maya. So with like one button. I think that's how it works. I don't have that installed, though. But I need to get this situation basically ready for sculpting, which it possibly is already. But probably... Oh, it's going to be sectioning. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. I'm still waking up. Where's my Photoshop? This? Yeah, okay. Put it back into full mode here. Yeah, okay. So we're going to do the sectioning. So I'm going to leave the glove as is. I don't love the shape, but I'm just going to leave it. So the main thing is to add leather straps here, easy. And then this one's a little bit harder in that it covers the knuckles and loops around the hands, so a bit more topology. Work there, has little pyramid knuckles, and then 2 little stitch lines, or whatever, 4, which I'll just probably use these like that. And it's a little bit thick, has a tiny bit of a pipe on it. And I think the shape I got kind of wrong too. I remember getting the shape wrong. I started to pull out this instead of, we want to pull this edge out. Yeah, and overall the shape's kind of bad, so it's not great as I go into detailing. But I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to save it at some point. This one's not. This one's pretty low poly. I could fix it. The Witcher show, the books are so much better. I like the show, but I mean, yeah, shows are always going to be less. Oh, you know what I need is the tools setting. There we go. Yeah, I usually dock this in here. Though this is almost so important, I like almost always leave it out. Oh crap. Like, well, in modeling phase, I need access to this almost the entire time, just so I can like really quickly check like what space I'm in. I'm in world at the moment. But I mean, shows are always going to be, I feel like, more mass appeal kind of stuff. So they're, especially on like a Netflix distribution, so they have to make everything a little bit more generic. I liked it though. I think it's fun. But I mean, ever comparing a book to a movie, you know, the book, it's like up to you to kind of appreciate or imagine what the characters look like and what they sound like, and then, you know, you see one person's interpretation of it, and it's like, if it doesn't match, you're just setting yourself up for not liking it. I'm like, I mean, obviously the show has like kind of like reignited this, but I like the game. I like Witcher 3, the game. I'm doing a playthrough now. I have a bunch of Geralt Witcher 3 toys hanging around my house. Okay. So these are just like not as important to me as the chest. Like this I really spent a lot, as much time as I would spend on something like this. There's no more to go for me. Like the next part is ZBrush. This could definitely use more, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just gonna kind of get these prepped and sectioned a little bit. But the shape is just not great, but I'm kind of just gonna go with it. So I'm gonna take these and let's extrude local Z. Oh, that's not what I was expecting at all from that, actually. So we'll do, is it offset in this case? I basically found some like odd behaviors, and maybe I just don't understand how thickness works, but I'm just like not using this at all. I just use these two. What's up, Original and Thomas? Welcome to Full Maya. You guys are probably in Full Maya anyway. I don't know anyone that uses LT. I'm the only weird person doing that. So I'm basically just gonna pipe this one. Oh, do you extrude first? You know, with a glove, you really don't have to. Like, I haven't really done a glove. I'm not really sure how to handle this yet. I think what's fairly safe, like on the other pieces, I've extruded the whole mesh, but this one I really don't think that has to happen. What I'm gonna do is just kind of cap it like this, so that the arm, you know. Actually, no, that's not it at all. Cause like this one, you're gonna see it. I'm using thickness here. Actually, in this case, this is kind of a funny one because you're gonna see inside of it. So this one really is almost. This one's pretty safe to double side the whole thing. So I take it back. I'm just gonna, even when that cut in it, and this edge is a little bit too. Like even this you would see too. So like, yeah, I really have not spent the time to get this piece modeled out correctly. It's also probably a little bit too treacherous to try to move this because it's not in screen space. Like I don't have an axis that's this way. Because this is the hand in A pose, and A pose is in the middle of nowhere. There's no axis. If this was T pose, you could pretty much pull in one direction. That would be fine. Stuff that came from Poland. Oh, okay. Oh, so that's like closer to like your like actual like country's mythology or something. Yeah, all those names of like witches and stuff, that means nothing to me, but I guess probably in I always figured it was based on like CD Projekt Red's country of origin or operation, their mythology, but it definitely could be something else. Okay, so I pulled these in a little bit. Yeah, this piece has not been shaped at all. Offset, nope. Yeah, it must be this one. Is this one working out okay? It's a little weird, but I'm just gonna kind of go with it. Yeah, this is shaped kind of awfully. I should probably retopo the whole thing, but I'm really not here to retopo this piece. I retopo the pants and the shirt, but I really don't want to do that here. But I do want this piping, so we'll see. At least I pick the right axis. It's gonna be a little bit weird because it has this edge has not been managed, but could definitely take the time and kind of model each piece better. Just all the way around. This might be a little bit too much topology out of the gate for a shape like this too. But I'm gonna flip, that's not it. Reverse normals. Okay. Oh no. Is this one of those things? There's like another command for reverse normals. And this mesh is now flipped because I've that's a weird one. Because I extruded from it. I should have flipped it then extruded it. I guess I'll do that. See how far back I need to go. There's definitely like construction orders that either make things like, that can make things really difficult if you do it wrong. Or more difficult than they should be. Like, so let's see if this flips it. Reverse, yeah? No. Interesting. So there's another reverse normals, or perhaps there is a setting in this. So reset. Selected faces. Then extract. All faces in shell. Well, that's kind of what we want. Preserve user normal directions. Reverse user normals. Preserve user normal direction. I don't know what that means. It's definitely not that. Okay, so I had this issue in... Oh, that did it. Wait, was it not apply? Is it because some of these normals are fine? Or is it like it may not like... that it's like going in two directions? Do I have to click this? Oh, it's that. If you click apply, it like doesn't work or something. I don't know. But I'm gonna just do my like low poly pipe for this thing, and that's pretty much it for this piece. Who knows? I don't trust the thickness anymore. Oh, it's on that one. I'm sure thickness is fine. I just don't know how to use it. Man, I wish I had some sort of local access set up for this. I could probably try to cheese it by hitting like D and then kind of loosely rotating it. Or apparently you can do this. Just get it like kind of close to like some sort of normal. I really don't have any that are flat. But that's kind of close. Kind of. It's better than what it was. Oops, wrong face. But, you know, this piece needs a lot of help to just kind of come put the... And it's not helpful that we built it on world axis. I kind of don't think that this is going to help at all. Nah. Component? Even components, like garbage. Slightly better. But just because it's been sloppily created like the entire way around that... Yeah, this is just a mess. This is an absolute kind of mess in here. Did I extrude the wrong edge? I think I did. Let me go back. Yeah, I did. It's because it's just this whole piece is so bad. I wonder if I can just like quickly kind of scoot this back into... this is so crooked. I see. So it's just the whole piece is like so slanted that I extruded this little top. Actually, I'm not even remembering what this is. I think on the front side this is a lot thicker. It's a lot clearer. But when it kind of shears to the side like this, the shape becomes just like way less obvious what's happening. So I'm fixing it in one axis, which is then gonna mess it up in another. And we're working in component. Actually, in component that might not be as true. This is like almost doing a slide. Oh yeah, this I see what's happening here. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, which one of these is better? I guess this one. But this is the kind of phase in when I was doing the chest armor that like I care a lot about how that chest armor looks. You're gonna see it a lot. So spent a lot more time fixing it. And even if it was this bad, well, I don't know about this bad, but I might have like retoppled the whole thing even just to make sure that I get perfect quads from the get-go. But this is kind of like my, I don't think legacy is the right word, but like my older way of coming from, ooh, that's just, coming from a ZR mesh. I don't know. I think in general I'm going to start from quad draws. Just stay in Maya basically. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but should have fixed like the super obvious ones and then just go for an extrude, and that'll be it for this piece. Oh my god, yeah, look at this. This was supposed to be flat. It's like all over the place. This is just bad construction. Not a great way of going about it, but I'm just gonna extrude this, and that'll be it. Yeah, and it just needs help. Something like that. It's very wonky. Too wonky. Like leather can be a little bit messed up, but probably not this messed up. So let's see how much we have to hold here. This is already kind of almost held. This is going to be kind of weird. I think I'm going to hold this. See how that goes. It's okay. Oh, the inside looks very weird. Oh, it's like a weird pot the way I've done this. But I'm gonna keep moving. That's not a, again. It's like in the scheme of this, it's like not a huge deal, but definitely not the finest the finest piece at all. I'm gonna pull this out just a little bit here. Oh, I already did the edging on it. Probably didn't need to even edge this piece. Yeah, what makes this less fun now in Maya is I don't have an axis to grab this from that's like very consistent. I guess world from the top is going to be the easiest if I wanted to like say pull these. I kind of wonder if people are really modeling skinning in A pose. It's kind of bad. But I guess if you know you're going to bind in A pose, you should definitely be figuring out the topology and stuff like that in that pose. What the can I do this one? Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, this is an interface that we'll never see, so I should probably leave. Okay, well that's pretty bad. But we're just gonna have like weird gloves, and I semi-expect to have to do them multiple times for the hand topology. That might be just in pure retopo though. Okay, so I think this is too much topology to really mess with, but I don't really have a strategy for hands because I've never modeled gloves myself before. So here we go. Is this piece so big that it's pretty subtle, if anything, really? It's a very subtle piece there. I might be going, I don't know, just kind of going with it for the glove. Extrude this out. Yeah, that's fine. So if we were to smooth that, it would kind of barely be there. But on the silhouette, most importantly, you would catch this little flare at the end. I probably should have just done this chill amount to that. I don't know what happened. This is almost like metal. But just those little things break up the silhouette, and the underlying shape unfortunately is kind of bad, but I'm gonna leave it. Okay, so the next thing is to quad draw the straps on there. Actually, you know what? The straps, let's just extrude. We don't have to get fancy with these ones. They don't really have buckles. They're pretty low detail. So we'll just extrude from these two. So like basically right at the wrist bone, and then this is just like a sub or two behind this one. It's barely even a subdivision, but yeah, that's about right. And then the wrist bone in here would be about here. So I feel like it's possibly 2 spans at the division we're at. Like that. We'll just call that a day. Keep this kind of fast. Uh-oh. Oh, I see we are in subdivision mode right now. .5, and yeah, what does this subdivide down to? I feel like it needs an edge. Yeah, it needs an edge at the direct border. Oh no. It needs to hold this sharp. It doesn't really matter if this goes soft, but right here is like an actual transition, so much that you might even like extrude in. But I'm gonna try not to do that. That sort of detailing, well, it's like paneling here. It's basically doing panel loops in Maya versus trying to pull that off in ZBrush. They're a little too big maybe, but it's kind of a design choice. I'm gonna go back. It's really almost like they're in line more than they're. I can't tell if these are extruded or not. They're not. It's almost, I mean, they're flush with the actual game mesh, but like the high poly one they wouldn't be. It's because they got texture baked onto it, which is how I'm gonna do it too. So if I am going for the thicker version, it really is an extrude. It's just not that much. So we'll do half. That looked like it was looping kind of weird. Ooh, I see. Oh, okay. So I did it right at this kind of like meeting of the thumb to the hand. So we're gonna go back a row just to avoid this. So are these not selected anymore? Whoops. Also, oops. Okay, so we just don't want to have to deal with this row here. So we're gonna go back a row. Topology. Actually, is this a clean loop? No, it's not. Okay, so this loop, when we do this for real, here has to loop perfectly around back to the front for the final glove topology. I watched a couple hand rigging tutorials. So there's like a very specific way to do the topology. Though the MetaHuman one's a little bit different, I feel like, but maybe not. Which one of these is it? This one. Maybe a 0.2 is okay. Like these are pretty thin. And then gate these and see how it feels. And if they had straps on them, we would have done the quad draw way. Though I guess it would have been just as easy to just like kind of copy and paste these out. Yeah, that's kind of a cheesy way about going it, but those are just loops and we're not gonna like draw buckles or anything on them. So let's see, am I gonna actually go for this hand thing? I mean, I kind of want to, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. So it's basically in with the MetaHuman, this is the metacarpal territory. So it's metacarpal index 1, basically. Metacarpal and index 1 have this thing around it. Man, rigging this. Though actually no, we're gonna project it. I was gonna say like it would be a whole process if I kept this as a separate. But yeah, I'm gonna quad draw that on. It's kind of a fun thing to do, I guess. And then I'm gonna try to do like because this is so high poly, I can't really like, and it's high poly plus it's on like a really weird angle. Though I guess if I made this object's pivot here, oh, that's not how that works. If I made this thing's here and I aligned it to like the top of the wrist, even loosely, oh, there it goes. This is custom. I could bake this to the hand origin, and we could call this like hand space, basically, and then try to work like this was the plane. That would make this a little bit easier. But just kind of how much topology there is and how I mean, this would be an okay construction plane. It's just kind of hard to move it vertice by vertice, whereas in ZBrush we would come in like maybe like inflate tool or something like that. I'll see when I get to the sculpting phase what I can pull off. But if the axes stay like this would be kind of nice. We'll see. So I am going to go live. Doesn't look live, but maybe it is. I guess I don't always want this here. Quad draw. Is this actually working? Yeah, it looks okay. Okay. It just looks slightly different than LT, like the shading. Also, I'm using Fongs or something that for the materials, but I'm going to switch this to blends at some point. We have like, I haven't even opened this yet in this version of Maya, but we have actually all of the shaders now instead of before. I think we just had Fongs, which is pretty sad. but I would probably use a Blinn or a Lambert. And then if we were doing Arnold, which we're not, I would use the Arnold shader. I forget what it's called. It's been like a very long time since I've done Arnold. AI standard, right? Is that what it is? I forget. Maybe there's like a new Uber shader for Arnold. I'm not sure. But I like quad drawing. Okay, so let's go for like the fingers first. That's pretty easy. And it's pretty much like, again, pulls like into like the mid metacarpal, but then wraps around. I don't know what the inside looks like, but I'll just kind of figure it out. Oh, I see kind of here. Oh, it almost covers the entire hand on this side. Oh, it does this like kind of U. Okay, so we'll go for these, and then it U's around, and it kind of pulls around the, it's a lot deeper here. I was going to cut it off here, but it cuts like around the hand. It's an interesting shape. I wonder if that's based on anything. Like some sort of like uniform actually uses that for some reason. So there's going to be, hold on. But it doesn't take much of the thumb. So I'm trying to figure out where this starts. Oh, it's definitely like right in the crease. So we're calling this like halfway. Is that too far out? No, I got it. And so then here, this starts to blend. Wait, so we think it goes, oh man, so I have to draw a lot for this. This is kind of a pain in the butt. This would be a good extract for sure, because the topology might even be there for this already. And then I think it's even the first, yeah, see, like this is like the primary bend of the finger. It's even like in there a little bit. This hand is probably the whole day. It's like this. And then how to merge these two. I mean, it's technically that already, but that's not the right. So we're already, I mean, the hand has a lot of curves. It needs a lot of topology to hold any of this stuff. And then when does this loop start? Oh, I already lost the loop. Hold on, oops. Okay, we got to do the loop first, and then I'll try to consider like the merge back. So how do I want to loop this one? This is a good preview for doing the hand retopo anyway. And making sure that this version of Maya works. Okay, I just need more like immediately. I can't even begin to hold this curve around here. Not 100% what it looks like in here, but we'll just go for this loop, this thumb loop. Okay, so there's a thumb loop. And let's just do the hand loop first, and then I'll consider how they actually come back together after. Ooh, so are we in a flipped world? No, we're okay. I'm just seeing through. Yeah, so the question is, in Unreal Engine, there's a span between the, like the MetaHuman one has like a span like this that then loops around again. I'm gonna try not to do that, but it's like, is there? I don't really know hand topology that much. I feel like there has to be a loop. Like these can't immediately turn into the other finger piece. Like there's a legitimate transition between the two. I don't know if that's how you approach like the low poly hand. And I don't want to go into triangles. I've seen people like you keep this like 16, but this is like more, and then you merge the verts back into triangles to like kind of reduce topology. I'd rather not do that. We're going to a painting app, so we don't have to, but I don't know. I'm sure there's like some standard way of doing hand topology. I don't really know it. It's just kind of winging it. So this is like the mirror point almost at this point. Oh, okay, so this is a question. So if I flip this, how is it too much to have this span? I mean, it's definitely like very small, but if they're like connected otherwise, I don't know. That seems crazy. probably a reference for hand topology I could go look at. Okay, so it's tab to pull an edge and it's alt to move the viewport. So when you don't let go correctly, it's alt tab, and that Windows does alt tab things. Yeah, I like this because this is like doing half of the hand topology basically of the retopo, except a little easier because we're just going into quads. It doesn't have to be perfect. Is this gonna be it? Seems like not. So the way that I did that, I pulled that all the way through. Man, we're not on like a. We're in A pose. The hand's at like 45 degrees angles, like this. So when you're trying to get like a flat view of it, it's kind of a dance. This seems like a robot way about going hand topology. This is definitely not like. Doesn't feel very organic to go this way. But I mean, as far as like, I'm just trying to stay strict box modeling so that it'll like insta quads. Seems like kind of an okay way to go about this. I guess if you think about it, it's like doing the legs, but there's 4. We're basically going from 1 cylinder to 4 cylinders. And it's just like, you know, what kind of loops are you having around each leg? Yeah, this angle's hard to get the view right. That's pretty far. I'll go this way. And so then if I come back and add a section to each one, it'll be 8 around, because right now this is 4 around, I think. We're just literally putting a box around each finger, and then a box with a loop in between. Like retopo and skinning and UVing aren't really art. It's almost like math. It's like almost what we could probably have like an app do this for us. I've not seen that yet though, other than like shrink wrap, the wrap 4D apps that project like a head onto like a like a clean retopology head, like the MetaHumans do basically. But there's more or less like a known hand topology that works, and they should all kind of more or less unwrap the same way, and then rig the same way. And I think that's kind of what like the Maya has, like some like geodesic, like fancy weighting things, but it's just never gonna always work. Oops. Okay, so this ended up somewhere weird. It's hard to grab it. But this is also a really good way to start to understand like the MetaHuman hand construction. More so when we come to do the retopo and look at the bones. Okay. So this is wrapping around here. So I'm going to go for the big designs first, and then you can always subdivide into it, right? So the question is, like, when it comes down like this, on the top, what's important is that we'll probably pull another loop out. What's important up here is that along this border, there are kind of like brass knuckles. But what happens here? And if I remember correctly, it kind of goes like this. So it's a lot more of the hand. So I wonder if here, if this is, how much of this is this leathery part here? I feel like it could be just this strap, really. But we don't know, most likely. Have to find like a shot with his like hands up. I'm sure there is a shot of it. And then if I design gloves all the time, I'd probably know from just like repeating, like doing it over and over again, that like gloves, when they do this type of thing, look a certain way. I have no idea what this looks like in here. All I'm gonna do, oops, that was pretty major. Oh, is this projecting on the wrong piece? Well, we're gonna add one more subdivision to this whole thing at least, so it'll be 8 around before we go back to ZBrush. Take the free projection here. I would say my guess is that this starts to pull pretty wide down here, but we'll see. We are very short on topology. But now we have to connect these basically. Like this connects like this, and if it really pulls all the way down there, I'd imagine there's another row that goes like, I'd almost pull a triangle from here, and it would go like that. Like there's, I forget what the hand line, there's a line on your hand that goes like this way. It would probably follow something like that, but we want to stay quads. And we're not really matching. I guess it's not so bad to start pulling this like this. And then we can just drop a subdivision through it with control. So that's pretty much the most minimal way you could go around the hand while giving it a division in between. Otherwise, the fingers would come to triangles and you'd kind of lose the shape really quickly. But we do have these kind of awkward pieces. So I think in the MetaHuman hand, what happens is they take these and they loop them back around. So there's basically a kind of like an extra loop around on each side of the finger, and then they loop them back together. That then makes kind of like a nice loop around the knuckle, probably. I don't know what the subdivision strategy is from after that. I'd have to keep looking at the hand when we actually do the retopo. Okay, so say it's something like this, and we just want to reconnect these two. So what I would say is that this is the side of the hand, which this will probably get, when we subdivide this will break up a little bit differently, but staying in this like extremely low topology phase. This is the side of the finger. All right, like a lot of the times you see when you skin it, you end up cutting a seam like right through here. And that's basically right through the middle of these. And then there's one to describe the top. So on the thumb, I had to do a little bit more. So if we had to call the top of the thumb something, it would be right here. And I've taken a lot of polys to describe this. So we're saying 1, 2 up here, 3, 4. We're doing 4 for the top immediately, directly into the side of the thumb being like right here. So the kind of thing I'm thinking is like this, where we say, okay, the side of the hand kind of continues to hold this thin line of polygons, and that's the connection point, like this. So I don't know what's going on in here, like how this is going to work out, but I mean, this piece can't just be floating. I think the whole bottom of the hand must become this leather piece, this wraparound. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the design would be otherwise, because like, where does this connect into? It must be the majority of the hand. That's what I'm guessing, is that like the inside of this is basically all the same. Though I guess it could just be, because if it connects here, is this where we want this to connect really? I guess that's okay. And then we're gonna drop a loop through here to hold it. It's not bad. So we're gonna take this whole next loop, and then this is where like the shaping happens, where it kind of, oh no, we have another loop. Yeah, I think I might have gone too many polygons like right here already. We'll see. I'll just kind of finish this out. It seems kind of high top. Seems like a lot of topology to start with. Yeah, I'm not sure this was the approach, but I wanted to kind of quad draw this because I'm going to have to do this for the hand anyway. But for that level of detail that we're doing, it's so shrink wrapped to the hand that like we'd have to have like the same topology over it. Yeah, I'm not sure about this approach to even generating this. But at some point this pulls, right? It starts to pull into like a corner. So in the way that I've done this, it has to start pulling from here. So we say that it kind of loops around. This is weird. And I think this is kind of awkward. And we've also lost we've transitioned the loop into this star point here with like 5 point, they come together. Has to happen somewhere. Yeah, well, I'm probably gonna have to go study a little bit of hand topo before I can more confidently do the full hand. But this is kind of a good preview of it. And then it kind of goes like this. Yeah, I don't know about these little squares in between now. But this is kind of like the fun of quad draw. It's just kind of like a fun experimental way of doing topology. But I don't know how I feel about this morphing into that. That's kind of weird. It goes down all the way to the palm of his hand. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's what I was starting to get to. Is that like, if this exists, how could it not be? Unless they just have like an awkward stitch like that. Well, that's good to know. So what makes more sense at this point would be to just cut directly into the hand, but I wanted to make a glove over it. But in this case, what it's turning out to be is that it's like actually just the fingers are a different material, and this part here, whereas I'm basically retopoing the entire hand because I thought it was like smaller. Like I retopoed the wrong part, kind of like I retopoed the big part instead of the small part. So this is not acceptable hand like game topology, but it should be, I think. And then we would just pull these ones. This got really weird, but there should be, as long as it's quads, it's like okay-ish to go back into ZBrush, and then ZR mesh as needed. I've never done this to a hand, so at least not in recent memory. Just because, I mean, look how long this is. It's basically like 4 legs, like I was saying before. So this is basically 4 legs. But I do want to make gloves, so here we are. I want to try to end it here, and so this ends up getting pulled back design-wise. Can I? Oh, that is the end. Wait a minute. What? This is transitioning back to like the arm loop. What's this extra one here? How did this happen? How do I get rid of this? I want this to end. Oops. Oh, it's wrapping. Oh, okay. Well, I've done this funny. I just want it to end here. I don't want this extra row. How do I do that? I see. So this one's coming here. This one comes around. I like keep tricking myself. What is the construction? It's because it's just too many polygons. I like can't see the quick way out of terminating this loop. I kind of need it. Oh, I see it. You end this star here, basically. You pull this loop as the end, like that. And then you extrude out from there. Because we were having like a never-ending, we were like having like this would have kept wrapping around. It never would have like ended. So it's like this, something like that. So it's pretty awkward to have these like little lines through here. So you could definitely pull them out, and then you just wouldn't have definition between the fingers. But I thought it would be good to have that. I might have been wrong. Truly, my first hand retopo was this one. And I did end up basically doing the whole hand. All you would do from here is extrude out boxes, and you would get the fingers. Definitely need one like here. And then I should really keep looking at I've kind of broken away, but I should eventually look at the MetaHuman, the final MetaHuman rehand topology for rigging, like what that should look like. So this is like kind of robot-y box modeled out, and it's a little bit too much topology, I feel like, but maybe it's impossible to have, or it's hard to have like a really low topology, like 8-sided hand, because there's just so many fingers. Ooh. Okay, so this turned into a quad, so could we do this? Is that safe? It's kind of weird. Oh, we just end up with one of these. Those are weird. I see. I wanted a loop on the outside. Okay. Well, this is what I'm here to try to figure out. So this actually doesn't work so well. Oops. So that's why we had this extra loop here. So is there a way to just, oh, it's that. That fixes it. That ends the loop in an okay-ish way. Again, this isn't retopo, but still, like, I mean, this isn't game topology, like rigging, skinning. But this is definitely foreshadowing to when I come back and do this wrong like 5 times. I have to skin it like 5 times. So I'm not sure this stream's staying on. I don't know, maybe it's helpful for some people to see it done wrong. I'd rather just see it done correctly. But like this is the topology you want to go for the MetaHuman hand to match it kind of roughly and not the wrong way for like a couple of days. But I feel like once I get the hand, there's no more challenge areas. Like I think I understand the shoulders and the thighs. I was looking at those for quite a while yesterday. It's just the hand, and the hands just, I think all hands are pretty similar. Okay, so again, the topology is not in a way that like makes sense for like the modeling, because there's like a knuckle here and stuff like that. But again, if we think about it as just like a shrink wrap around the hand, I think it's like okay. And then this stuff kind of pulls a little bit. So this has been kind of weird. So I kind of like retop with the whole hand, and then we could go for like, I don't know. I don't really know. This might have been easier done in ZBrush because you can just keep ZR enmeshing. And it's not too late. I might still do that because this has this like weird shape here now, and then we're gonna start bunching up like all these polygons. And I don't know, I went to like a lot of topology, so I'm not able to keep like nice smooth. Like this in here, like what the hell? Like you could just hit ZR enmesh and it would be like, it'll keep this edge and then kind of like redistribute everything in it. So this kind of glove pattern was probably better done completely in ZBrush. Or maybe I just took a weird strategy. Like you could probably, if I delete these, we possibly have like 1, 2, 3 rows of polygons I really don't need, and it's making like, it's too much. This is too high poly already for me to like, you know, quickly and like kind of gesturally like control this kind of shape. So maybe these were a mistake through here. Possibly. And I didn't really, I think I did 8 around the thumb, which was kind of fast to do 8. I probably should have tried to keep it at 4. I don't know. I am going to ZR remesh this thing. I mean, this is not going to sculpt super nicely. So I'll Z remesh this. But I kind of learned something about going around the hand and the thumb a little bit. This is pretty much like doing like if this was the pelvis, each one of these is a leg, and then this is the shoulder. So the hand is literally like doing the body all over again. It's like pelvis, legs, into the spine that's all connected into an arm joint as far as retopple. But you don't have to deal with the shoulder, and the thumb doesn't really move that much, so you don't have to do as much to it. But as far as like the type of, you're basically intersecting one cylinder into 4 at a parallel angle and then sticking another cylinder in it in the side. Plus knuckles. Which is like, the knuckles are like kind of like how you would, if you were going to bulge like the crotch area, it'd be similar, and then kind of like also like a butt. Yeah, it's basically like a butt. So like if you made edge loops around here, these would both be butts or something like that. Hand butts. Yeah, I need to go. It's the MetaHuman. We just have to. I just have to study the MetaHuman hand topology, and I'll kind of figure out what's going to be my approach for it. Yeah, this hand topology is a mess, like super mess. What the hell? I'm kind of like jumping between, like what the knuckle topology should be, and like this kind of like pulled in design. This probably should have been done in ZBrush. So I'll probably take this back into ZBrush and like immediately ZR remesh it, or just do it completely over again. But I did want to do this. I did want to try like quad drawing over the hand and seeing how it goes. The tool is definitely good for it. I need to just catch up on like what type of topology I want to stick into this. But that was kind of fun. I don't think that's not like massively useful, but, and it's definitely not going to end up in like topology I want to use. And I can't sort this out by hand. Like I need to have the computer do that for me. I'll just put like an extra loop in here. And then this is still basically only 4 around, so it's going to smooth really weird. And when I smooth it, it's not gonna, I'm just going to start sticking weird loops in here and see what happens. That's going to loop all the way down. But this is kind of the result if you go full box modeling with spans in between, which I don't know if that's good or not. It's probably, I don't know. It seems okay. So this is 6 sides. Yeah, this is a 6-sided finger. This would start to make it 8. Oh, I see that it shares those loops here. Okay. That's kind of nice, actually. And then I think there's one here to make it 8, which obviously this is probably just like a little bunched up. I don't know. It's kind of like an experiment. I just wanted to see what this would look like if I approached it this way. I think anyway you slice this, the hands just have a lot going on. I'm just going to hit shift and start to, oops. Yeah, so we definitely don't end up in good deforming topology, but it should sculpt now, and it's like kind of, we're projecting onto the hand topology, so we're keeping, hopefully, the shape a little bit. I don't know why the hands super confused me. I just got to just basically bang my head against this for a while. See how it goes. I mean, it's kind of working out. This is definitely not low topology, but smooth tool helps actually. Smooth tool is kind of like making me feel a little bit better about this whole thing. As long as we don't touch the border, it'll keep the borders and then kind of interpolate everything else to start to move towards like regular quads. And it's not bad. It's massive topology though, like way bigger than I was expecting out of this. Okay, so we have 8-sided. I think this is a little bit more than 8 because it, okay, so I know that when I come back in to do this topology again, I need to make an 8-sided cylinder, and make sure that they don't do this, because this became like a 12-sided or something around, because I basically did 8, but then when you subdivide this one as they're connected, this splits in half too. So you almost need to do like a 6-sided one and then expect the merging as these split back together. I'm sure everyone that models hands knows this, but I'm kind of just like reverse engineering the modeling from the MetaHuman. Can we do this? No, it's looped that way. Okay, so the loop is, we never transition to a full loop. If we extruded this out, we'd have a full loop. This is still a transition between these two ones, but the true loop is right here. And then here, it doesn't even exist. Oh, this pulls around? Interesting. It's not bad. I don't like that this pulls like this, but I mean, it kind of has to, right? If it wants to stay like even, big attempt to be even. Yeah, that's awkward. I'm not sure where this loop should have come down here, and there needs to be like, I think merging this is a mistake. To merge this into the thumb was bad. They should merge straight down with another loop in between it. I know how to do this better next time. Or when I have to come retopo it. These want to come straight down with another loop in between them like we had here, and then that's the transition back into this one. So this is just garbage, but still learned a little bit from it. I'm gonna smooth this and pretty much call it. I don't think, I'm gonna bring this back into ZBrush and ZR remesh it to get like a slightly more, it'll probably fix that area for me, I'd imagine. And then I'll extract it out there. Again, the hand is a whole process. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna take that mesh back. What's the point of taking it? It's useless. My goal was to get like better topology here than I would get in ZBrush, but the hand is hard. Or should I just do it again? I mean, I have a lot of it. The goal was to get all of the sub D, the thickened high poly models done here. Let's see how bad this is if I start extruding from here. With this extrude 0.2. Yeah, the tolerances are a lot harder too, because it's like there's like these little thin fingers you have to protect the borders between. Like we still actually have a poly row here. They haven't like merged yet. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, actually. This is bad, but we're trying to stay low poly. This really needs an edge, like. But this isn't gonna loop, or is it? No, this loops down. I need to loop through here. I need topology here. Where's that looping? Where did that go? It just dies right in this. Is this not quads? It is. It's a plus sign, right? This is a plus sign. And then the plus sign keeps going here, but it dies in there. Okay. Because this can't hold the thumb, but maybe when we subdivide it, it'll probably go around there. This is also twisting in a bad way. I knew gloves would be hard. Well, it's something like that. And let's see what smoothing it looks like. It could probably use like one edge. I guess this isn't awful. I'll try holding the I'll try holding the edges. See how it goes. I can hold this one. Nice. I can hold that one. Hold the inner one. Let it go round on the sides. And then each one of these ends, I think I've done the topology. Oh no, what? Really? No. There it is. These actually are finished correctly. This, I don't know. I want to go see how the MetaHuman finger, I'm almost positive the MetaHuman finger, these would have stayed straight and there was a loop here and then you loop these together. It would be a loop. Somehow this loops back, this loops into this one, and then this loops maybe fully around. I'll have to go look at it. It's not, that's a pretty good base to sculpt into. And then we'll ZR remesh and hand retopo later. It's popping through a little bit, but I'd rather change that once we smooth it in ZBrush. And we're just trying to go for a high poly in the end, so I have a slightly different strategy for retopoing that next time. But that's pretty much it. I'll call that for here. I know that a lot of the nice high resolution tweaking will happen in ZBrush. So we'll call that. It needs some tweaking, but that's my take on it for now. We'll sculpt in these wrinkles and the seams and stuff like that. So then 4 little pyramids on the fingers, and we'll call that for the gloves. And I'll kind of what are they called? Change the materials on them a little bit. The overall hand just didn't get as much like sculpting and shaping as it does the rest of the body, but it'll be okay. And if they turn out absolutely awful, I'm going to rig them separately so that we'll just use the MetaHuman hand instead. So was my fallback. Is there a pyramid? Is a cone with 4 sides a pyramid? Probably. Is it Control A? Yeah, so Control A will cycle through these different ones. 4. Okay. It's 4, but it's like off the its construction is not square, but it should be just like 90 or 45 degrees. So if and then the radius is here to there. So where's radius? Radius is 1. So does that mean if this wants to be a square, this is also 1? Okay. I think that's it. And then we just do 45 to get you squared up. Okay, so that's a square pyramid. Like the radius or the diameter, is that what we call it? So this one, diameter and height are the same basically. Now, when these smooth, because we're gonna, am I gonna paint? I mean, how am I gonna handle these? You know, I don't really want, again, because we're gonna do the poly baking. Is it worth rounding this as a high poly and baking that back on? I mean, it's gonna need the metal material and substance painter, so I suppose it should. So we have to get this thing ready to be subdivided. Okay, that's not a loop. What? Because this is a triangle. Oh. Can you bevel this back into quads? Or is it called chamfer? Chamfer. Oh, I see. There we go. Okay. So we have to do this. Now it's quads. This is gonna be weird. It's gonna be really weird. Oh my god. This is gonna look insane. This is gonna probably pinch and have weird artifacts at the top. I have never subdivision modeled one of these before. That's definitely not it. We'd have to come and kind of like redistribute those to not be pulling so hard into the edge. That being said, though, it's like, I mean, it's so small. It's probably not worth doing this. I'm just gonna leave it as a triangle, or the quadded triangle, this kind of triangle. What's the shading error on this? Or do if I'm not going to high poly it, it doesn't have to stay quad. So I'll just leave this as like a simple shape. We'll just leave it like this. This thing is just like a pure insert. It doesn't need to be brass. We don't have to get this actually ready for sculpting. So I'll duplicate that. This goes in my details folder. And I don't have a hand spaced. I gotta just like by hand. I'm going to center pivot. Oh, and I found reset transform. That's nice. Okay, that's still not it though. That's still gonna be a pain in the ass to orient. So how do I get this to? Where's orient? I guess I have to spin it, huh? So we'll center the pivot, and then I spin it this way. Oh, I fucked up. Centered. Oh, center pivot was off. I see. Okay. Whoa, what? Where did it go? Where's the pivot now? Okay, I'm screwing this up. I should be able to hold D, hold X, and then on this axis. Oh, I see. So D, J. That's probably good enough. I was trying to get it on the floor too. I think that's it. Oh no, I lost it. How do you actually change the pivot? I thought that's what did it. Then D. What don't I understand about this? I'm gonna freeze the transform. Oh, also, I guess that could be what's spaceman. This is object space now. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted. So I could rotate it easier. Okay, I gotta stick these on the hands. Oh, it's live. Oh, that's why it's live. It's like snapping kind of weird. Fair enough. This is what I needed to do the glove. I needed to redefine its object space so that I could, you know, kind of move things up and down the arm. Would have made modeling easier. I think that I probably could have shaped it better then too. Next time. I think the way these are on there, you like you see the ends too, but I'm gonna just stick them in there. And these placements are just kind of to roughly sculpt around like some leather detailing around it, and the final placement, well, I guess that kind of does place them once I sculpt into the high poly, so never mind. We gotta get this right here. I kind of wish I had the MetaHuman skeleton in here. I don't. I guess I could go get it. It's just like I have this placed here, but then like where's the actual bone knuckle? That's what really matters. It's not so much like where does it look like it should be here. It's so that like when I actually if the joint is here, this actually has to be here, so that it doesn't come along with it. So I actually don't know where this should go. Should probably go get the real MetaHuman skeleton to check this one. This is like one of the only placements that matters relative to the skeleton. Oh no. These all might be a little bit big too now. I'm kind of looking at the yeah, no, I didn't spend very long on the hands. Kind of shows at this point. So if I do this, will they scale locally? Yeah, okay, so I can just kind of It's not one on the thumb, right? I don't think so. Okay, so what's this off color? So this is kind of like, it's the color of the gloves and the boots, basically. So it's like leather 2, basically. Like this is leather 1, this is leather 2, I would say. It's also like the highlight color. Like whereas like this leather is brown, metal is this, and these are like kind of generic colors. This would be like kind of the highlight color. What's up, warrior? Yeah, so I'm just gonna roughly color them. This isn't how we can't leave these colors when they go into Substance Painter, but it just helps me kind of see what we've done. So there's a leather 2, and we'll make our first blend. Nice, actual shader here. So I'm gonna call this, oh, we have a leather 2. Oh, the chest. Okay, well, I'll call this leather 3. And it's kind of like a greenish leather. Or bluish leather, rather. Which... oh, it can't really be a bluish leather. How does that work? I'll give it some like kind of like low saturated dark blue like this for now. That, and it's pretty shiny. Yeah, oh yeah, look at the shading model. This these fongs have had their shininess basically taken away. But they're coming from Maya LT, so we'll kind of refix them a little bit. So those are shiny. It's not the right color exactly. Looks awful too. Yeah, the silhouette's pretty bad on this. Did I not extrude this piece? It could be probably extruded more. If we keep it in boxed out, I don't know. I'm not in love with the hands, but I was considering not even doing them, but we're doing them. Oh, my bad. The whole glove is blue, and then the things are leather. So this is, first of all, just like wrong. And then this is leather 1. Actually, when you do it this way, oh, that's dangerous. That hitting. If you select with the move tool on, it's kind of dangerous because you can extrude a face by accident or something like that. You can be greedy and go for both. I'm just going to go for one. Okay. Leather. Metal. I can actually assign like a metal now. We actually have full Maya. I can do a bit more in the shader in here, but that doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's not it. It's a little bit more green. So let me just try to get this a little closer. Yeah, it's more towards cyan, I would say, and then way saturated out, and then darker. It's around here, somewhere in this world. So it's like almost this color, but it's a little blue, like magical or something. And then so are the boots are basically that color too. Not that we haven't done these, but I'm gonna try to get them into sculptable form today. But just to kind of give them the right color there. Okay, so we finally have, I think that's the final colorway. Is there more happening in the pants? No, it's like this. So this is the final colorway. I kind of like it without the reflection because it, well, maybe if I smooth these pieces out. They're not that shiny, but I'm not really here to spend time fine-tuning that. So just playing it off. Where do they call it here? They have, oh man, I'm so used to like actual PBR. So this is specular roll-off reflectivity. Oh my god, this is like, so this is like the spec power. So if we do this, if we turn it off, it's gone. And if we want this to be like a rougher material, is that this? Yeah, so this spreads it out. So this is kind of like roughness, sort of. Specular roll-off, man. I don't know these words anymore. These are like weird shader things, but like that's kind of a broad reflection. I mean, this is more like rubber, but we don't have a normal map. But just making it like a little bit more subtle. Yeah, that's rubber. That's a rubber finish, but oh well. Again, the shaders in Maya mean nothing, so I don't care. But just make it awful to look at otherwise. Okay, so those are the gloves. They're pretty bad. but I'll kind of like reshape that a bit. And I'm going to do very little sculpting to this thing in Maya. It's almost like this is the high poly. Like this would be fine to high poly basically. Like it already has these kind of like smooth pulled out edges. So all this will bake onto the normal. And then this will just go adjust in Maya or in ZBrush. But there's a world where the high poly bake is this. If I basically, these all have subdivision modifiers on them, but if I just give each one of these things like 2 layers of smooth, we don't even go to ZBrush, but then we wouldn't have any like kind of normal map sculpting things in them. Okay, boots. So do a final peek at the hand. Now that it's kind of colored, this piece will pull out in ZBrush. Basically just this. Usually get pulled out. There's not enough topology to pull it out in the low poly cage. But once you smooth it, we'll have a couple loops and we'll just pull those out. Added some knuckle things. If I need to kind of scoot them around when we do the rigging, I can. And the straps on this one are just extruded out from this, which is kind of lazy, but it'll all bake down to one thing. We're going to hull this whole, this is going to be all one hull when I bring it into the game. So will this. Okay, so the boots, let's see here. These need to have their topology stripped way down. So it's probably going to be a retopo completely over these things. I'm going to do this a little bit simpler than theirs, but it's basically just one big piece of fabric with a strap over it and a leather heel here. That's all I'm going to do. I think there's just like some sort of back detail on that, and then we'll sculpt these onto. These are not similar. These are just like, we can use this as reference when we do our folding and stuff like that. Okay, so these are too high topo to like be useful. So is it really, am I gonna really, I guess I'm gonna retopo it. That's like the best way to do it. I mean, that's how I did this and this. It just basically take control over it. So I guess that's the move. Okay, let's save as. Just get some good base mesh for that and be on with it. Maya MA. Okay, here's our second one. Okay, so let's go live. So we want to go 8 around, and then try to get the form right while it's still very low poly, because this is already too many polygons for me to like. I'd have to be in ZBrush to control it. I'll make live. Here we go. Okay, modeling toolkit, Quadra. Okay, so oh, what the fuck? I think I went, what did I just do? What the fuck? What is this? I'm in like some crazy mode. It feels, I think I killed Maya. Or what? What? Let's turn this off. What am I in right now? I'm in some sort of mode that is blocking normal selection. What was that? What is this? Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's just rename this stuff a little bit. So this is body. This is glove, lower, and glove. Upper, it needs to be slightly changed too. Okay. Should probably have deleted the history before I moved these. So these are now the sub Ds, and I didn't save the low polys, but I have them in multiple files, so whatever. These are now sub D, and we want to take this piece, which is the low poly boots, duplicate it, pull it out, hide that stuff away. Oh, and the brass knuckles boots, poly surface. What's poly surface? Oh, the like glove outer. I just haven't cleaned up. I'll just throw these in here too, even though they're not sub D, but they will go to ZBrush like that. Basically, that's what that means. And these are boots low poly copy, so we can start working on these ones. So I think one thing that's safe to do is to solo these before you quad draw them. Make live. Please don't freak out. Yeah, okay, cool. So let's do 8 around, and then 8 around down here too. See how that goes. I just kind of loosely pulled these up here because that's the height they should be on the body. So let's stay like big quads. So we'll start with 4 around. So side, back. We should probably hide this. Like that. I'm going to go hide that. That's going to be in the way forever. And by hide, I mean delete. Do I still have my... Is this still live even? I'll remake it live. Is live quadra. Okay, they're still there. Okay, good. So 4 around, obviously slicing into it like insane. It can't even do this one. It can't even connect that. It's like doesn't recognize it. This one too? Oh, there we go. Okay. So there should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Okay. So we do kind of want to have like a pretty straightforward middle line through each piece. So like the middle of this is like kind of like here. And I should have if I didn't. Oh, wait a minute. This is the, well, kind of, it's kind of like this actually. But with this bigger piece, I should have drawn it bigger than the boot was, so then I can use this phase now to kind of like define out what the top of the boot shape looks like. So I'll go look at the reference on how that is. But anyway, when it's in this 8 poly cylinder form, it's much easier to come up with like smooth shapes. So it has this kind of like pulling out thing, so not great, but I would guess from the front it's kind of like, the question is, does it go like this or does it go down? It goes down, I think, and that's a little bit of the perspective, but it's kind of like this, like it kind of has like a U shape, and then probably the high point is like this, something like that, and kind of go back the other way, same thing. Is this the middle? I have to keep this. This is the middle, and I kind of do it the same way, and then spread out this. So we just get to define like the what are they called? The north, east, southwest, and then the transition points between them with 8 polygons. This doesn't feel very good. So this is like what? So we want to kind of and then from there it turns into like more like even. Oops. Like literally just a cylinder at that point, but the top of it has a bit of this like kind of shaping to it. So we're gonna have to come out of live jet to like do the final shaping, but at least it'll be in like kind of low poly mode. Just try to keep this in the center roughly. Keep going. I'm gonna go for like long polygons, and we can just come back and add topology as needed. Oops. There, so we're already at the foot at this point, nice and low. Okay, so this got kind of wrecked down here. So we want to start to consider the loop. So I've already made this one before, but I don't think it came out perfect. But this is a deform area, so we don't want to box it. We want to kind of start to hold. So I've already gone to 8. But we want to start to hold like a line, but 1, 2, well, I'll just draw it. That's 1, 2. This is 3, 4. I think I've done this wrong already. No, that's the mid. We want 8. Is this 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. So we want this loop kind of further back, actually. We kind of want this here, because this part's gonna bend. I forget if there's corrective bones in the foot. So this is still just quad sculpting geometry, but when I'm pretty much doing this exactly the way I'll do the final mesh, but then I need to consider, we need to look at joints when we're doing this retopology, or at least I will. This feels very stretched here. So I guess it's probably okay to start to. But anyway, we kind of want we kind of want like a loop when it's transitioning shape like this, and there's a bone there. So what did I do differently? Is there? Oh, I think I was gonna loop down this way. Okay, so this one wasn't really actually necessary. This isn't. The topology didn't change. This is still just, I could have pulled that down, but anyway, I felt like hand drawing that loop. Yeah, that doesn't matter. That was a straight pull down. It's more like if I looped it around this way, which is what's about to happen here. So like around, well, the real loop that matters is the toe. So right here, there's a toe bone. So we kind of want to make sure that we have a loop, though it doesn't make sense to start drawing there. This is where it transitions. So it goes from like a pants to foot or whatever here. So that's one. We can kind of do this symmetrically. So one, I need to kind of plan out how that matches. Like, is this, oops. Is this going to be the match? Kind of has to be, right? And the sole kind of doesn't matter. That can kind of turn out to be whatever. Now, what happened to, so it's just this, and then this turns into a loop this way. So is this the final loop? We'll call it, there's a one loop under it before we get to the sole. This has lost its kind of way, like this is the middle of the leg. What happened here? It worked out on the other side. What did I do wrong? It was like that. That's how we did it. That's better. So there's one more loop before it hits the sole. But the important part is that this toe part has cylinder geometry, more or less. What happened to this? Oh, I got killed. But yeah, that's a nice way to transition through here. It's basically this thing takes the transition piece, but we can drop a loop here in a second. And basically this could have been, if we're trying to keep this like kind of like these long pieces along the way, it's kind of like this. Then we just need to sort out the toe end, how this kind of goes. Now this is different. How did this become different? Damn it! Like, okay, there's this big triangle one. This is the front side. Front side. Well, I'm missing this. So there's a star here, a 5-star. And this is a 4-star. Where's the 5 coming from on the other side? Damn it, I've gone asymmetrical already. How did this happen? So we have this. I have an extra, I've done this differently. These are different. Kind of like, this one's a star, this one's a star back. So this one's a star from the middle. This one is a star from the front. Ah, I see. Okay, which one's better? I kind of like this one better. This one's like a little bit more even feeling. But this one stars there. Versus the other one, this one stars a loop back. They both keep this loop. That's like the important loop that I care about. These two are both fine. It's just they're not going to, but I like how this is holding the bottom one better. I like this one better. So how do I get this? I almost want to go symmetrical. I don't know how to get that back. So the star is here. Oh, you can kind of see it. How are they doing? How did I do this? So 1, 2, 3. Oops. How did I keep this thing a star? Nope. How did this happen? Is that it? No, the star's still here. What am I doing wrong? This pulls. So this has like a whole, oh, hold on, wait, I think I can see it. This has like an extra loop here. No, it's still right there. That's how you do it. Is this right? How did this resolve? And then how does this back corner resolve? These two, this is the back ankle, somehow turn into this? How did this work out? Oh fuck. These two merge into a square here. Oh, is it this? This is a square. That's how it, okay. Wait, that doesn't seem right now. Damn it. That's not right. I just need to take away faces until I can figure out this symmetry. I could just cut the boot in half. That's it. Oh my god. Wait, no, that doesn't seem right either. These are like merged like here or something like this. Is that right? I think that's it. Yeah, that's the match. That took a long time. That's the match. And I decided I like this one better because this loop is here. Because this is where these two loops bend. And then I like that this starts to define kind of like the outer part of the foot here. Like this. Yeah, and I like how this starts to go flat. Like this is starting to turn into the sole. It just seems easier to control. It took a while. There's a flat around the bottom. Yeah. It took a while. Okay, so what's nice about this is I can start to prioritize this loop here at the bottom. Oops. So this one holds this loop, which is kind of going to transition nicely into the sole. Now this terminates in a very specific way too. I just don't remember how. Let's see if I can just have these all kind of come back together. Yes, like this. Oops, not that many. Here. It will fill that. Yeah, so that's now a sole. This is the 8-sided foot, basically. Coming all the way down here. Very stretched out there, but this preserves like a really nice line through here. It gets obviously very stretched here. The part that gets stretched out pretty hard is right there. So this needs like that through here. And then it becomes not 8-sided. But I believe that's like the nice way of doing this foot topology, where we keep loops for deformation here, and we have loops for deformation here. And then modeling wise, we're kind of calling out that this starts to turn into a flat sole. There's probably other ways to approach this, as I did this asymmetrically just a second ago. But from here it becomes an extrusion, and we don't need the live draw anymore. Start to pull these to being like a little bit flatter. The shape of this foot's a little bit weird. Looking at it from the top, we want to start to kind of shape it better. Okay, so we don't need the live draw at this point anymore. We can just do this is a little sharp, but once you smooth it, it becomes less of a big deal. And then this line's maybe like a little bit full forward. But it's this basically like you get to hard and force like the type of topology you want, and this this pretty much lives on as you go to sculpt it in ZBrush. And without it there, you kind of have to fight the topology that ZRM Measure gives you. Sometimes good, sometimes a shit. I see, but this will take a long to type. And the delay, yeah. Yeah, you just have to have faith that I'll get it. But these are important shapes, like, and again, like I've solved this before for the foot. I don't solve it that often for though there's definitely a world where this goes down, but I prioritize this fold. But the hand's the same thing. It's like you just do it over and over again. You're just like, oh yeah, like you kind of remember how it should look. But the hands are just, there's a lot more happening, right? Like this thing is way crazier than a hand, or simpler. Okay, so we'll turn off live, and so now we don't need this low poly one. The high, whatever that one was under it, like the medium poly. And so now we want to kind of shape out here. And luckily, for this type of a thing, if we're just in, where are my tool settings? If we're just in object, which is basically world space, you can just use this and start to just pull this out in this phase, right? So it's like in 8 poly we have or 8 subdivisions, we have a lot of control over the big shape. And so however you can arrive at this shape, that's where you should do your base shapes. Like it could be done in Blender, it could be done in ZBrush if you're good at the Z modeler, or in Maya. So I kind of want to hide this foot, to be honest. I guess I can hide this body. That'll mostly do it. But it's like, you know, you're looking at like these big arcs, and it's like, is it right? It has to be right here, or else, like, because once you subdivide it, you're not going to very easily be able to change that. So we kind of have this, oh, I lost it. I wanted this to go down, right? Or was it up? I forget, let me look. Oh, it kind of loops. It's pretty straight, but then it's kind of like, the whole thing has kind of like a forward slant, so actually it's kind of fine like this. And they're kind of peaking around here, and this is the phase to get that right. Because once you extrude it and start sculpting, it's kind of harder to move around these shapes. And then it's like, I feel like you kind of want to keep these feeling smooth. See how this is like kind of like jagged? It's like, I basically never did this to the hand, and it shows and feels bad. But the hand did so much, like, I should have done this retopo phase and then kind of sculpt it in the face and then brought it back up. But so this skin's gonna have like suboptimal hand finishing, but just finishing a hand would be pretty good for me, and I'll try to do it better next time. Kind of like from what I learned this time. So this feels a little tall, kind of mellowing out all that stuff I said I was gonna do with the profile. Right, and the question is like, does this part of the boot pull out further on the side? I say it would. It's pretty round, right? So you should be able to see this front edge. And then here too, like how tight does this get to the body? Kind of just following this profile all the way down from the front, like what should it look like? I would want this to be straight. And in this case, considering how much we have modeled, we won't be using any of the MetaHuman body, like the actual body. It's going to be entirely ours, so we don't really care at this point if we're like, if the mesh is kind of popping out, but it's a good guideline roughly that it shouldn't be like, you know, skinnier, too much thinner. But we're basically completely defining everything about the body in this mesh. Okay. So, I mean, for me, I mean, it's good to do retopo over and over and over again because the muscle memory I think is really important. But like in a lot of ways, I could save this low poly shoe boot thing, and it's like I should just start from here every time. But it's pretty easy to draw this out. You kind of want to get good at it faster and faster, muscle memory and whatnot. So we'll call this boot low poly. It just depends how good you are at 3D modeling. Like I had to start in ZBrush and kind of like mush like a boot, and then I retopoed it, and then I retopoed it again, and it just, whenever you feel like you have like the shape, you know, this is just kind of just going around in circles until it feels right. Like this doesn't make it feel right. It goes up and then down, right? We want this kind of feel like it's like one circle around from all the angles. Foot feels kind of wide in a bad way to me. Like this should be kind of like, and so I'm gonna, so this would be like kind of inside of the MetaHuman foot now, but we're defining where the foot is completely. I don't like how this gets kind of like, it goes like down. But actually, a foot does kind of, I don't like this piece being so far out either. Because if you get the shape right here, you don't have to do very much in ZBrush as far as like mushing things around. Okay, so now what we can do is actually, did I screw this up already? I think I might have, but we'll fix it here. The way I want to rig these, oh yeah, I'm way off. We want to take these. Where is the scale tool here? We want to scale these flat and then bring them up, because the way the MetaHuman foot works out is that it's here, and so the MetaHuman shoes tend to go down after the sole, and so you have to retarget them to fix that, and it's not a trivial retarget yet. It might be easier soon when we get the Unreal Engine 5 retargeting tools, but as of right now, even with my Vicon system, it's a pretty painful retarget to have to bring the foot up on the solve like a full centimeter or two, and it shows up. So I kind of cheat it like this for now. And so if you finish your shoes this way, so like right now, like the toe would be here, but we're taking over at this point. And so these are leather soles, but we might want to kind of show them off a little bit. Now, did I screw up the topology anywhere else on this? But it's basically flat now, so we might want to pull this up a little bit more later. Okay, and then we want to take this edge and extrude it down. So that's the sole now, like the leather hard surfacey part. And then like this edge, we might want to like have it go like in and out a little bit, which we could do it with a loop, which that's the idea with this. So I'm going to duplicate this again because I'm a little afraid of this shape, but have like the overshoot of the leather a little bit from the sole, and or bring the sole in a little bit. I think is the idea actually would be the move. Like grab this edge and kind of bring it in just a little bit maybe. And then definitely need an edge loop through here, almost like, and then bevel it pretty much. This feels like a little bit, I should probably look at reference of what like leather boots are. I'm kind of doing it from memory. But let's cap the bottom of this now. See if I remember how to, I solved this before. This is like a known shape. I think if you just go straight down, that's a quad. It'd almost be good to quad draw again on it, but the surface is going to be like kind of all over the place. So what we can do instead is, I believe, 1, 2, it's this front part that's funny. Like I'm pretty sure this, I'm just going to start bridging on spans that are like, you know, across from each other and not distorting the shape, and see where we end up. Then it's like a cut right down the middle, and then eventually I figure out how to solve the bottom. I think this is a quad. No, it's not. 1, 2, that's 5, so dead wrong about that. Oh, when you cut it in half, I think maybe that turns into quads. So 1, 2, 3, if I put this in the middle, that's still a triangle. Yeah, so solving the bottom with an edge loop too. Oh, I'm going to edge loop it. That's how we'll do it. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of hand topology for sure. Let's do bridge. Bridge is a sketch that you can bridge 3. It's the same thing as fill hole. Okay, so what we actually want to do, I'm going to undo that. The easier way, I think, is to take this loop and extrude it in. Now, is that a full loop? It is. Okay. Let's look at extruded edge if it gives me like a good tool for this. Yeah, there we go. So that holds the edge loop of the sole, and then we can basically fill and cut this thing. So we do want to get back towards quads if possible so that it subdivides, though given that we have this quad loop here, if this goes into full crazy, it doesn't really matter. Like it'll still subdivide fine, and I'm not gonna, like people who make like full zebra shoes, you spend time down here and you like make a pattern and stuff like that. I'm not gonna, this is gonna be flat. So let's cut from here in half. Can I cut all the way across? No, probably not. This feels very big, that it's missing a big piece there, but I'll go look at it. Quads. There's really no subdivision across this. Oh man, it's a massive. It's good. It's good that it's still fine. Okay, so there's the bottom. So we basically have like a very hard surface here, and they're straight and perfectly flat to the ground like you want, and then it starts to go like a little bit, you know, more soft modeling up here. You know, and now it's easy to make like big changes to the form. Like for instance, this is like, that's about all we can do for scaling. And yeah, then you spend as much time as you can here making this part right. And that's the majority of the modeling happens here. And you can still, when you subdivide, start moving it in ZBrush too. So I'm gonna save this again. So this is like the full low poly. I'm just gonna keep duplicating this because I feel like I'm gonna destroy it pretty soon. Okay, so now I want to prep it for this. So I feel like I probably should have gone more for quads up here, like it's very stretched. But the main edge I want to keep, and this is why we have this like nice edge loop here, is where the sole is. Like this could be a separate piece. It could, but you could do this, and I don't know if this is the right move, but you can extrude this. Like that would be, I see people doing that. Not in the final mesh, but like to get this kind of like division here of the fact that like the bottom is like, we'll call it leather, like a very hard leather. Right, you kind of get this seam. This could also be like an insert, a Damien standard tool brush kind of move. That might have been a bit much. But in the end, it just becomes like, you know, when we do the final mesh, we don't have that in there. It's just like a smooth way of doing like a Damien standard tool seam. That was a little bit heavy. I don't know if that was any different. So I'm just going to play around with gating it. Like this is like pretty much like a hard surface. We don't want that to get too round. And, oh, so I already put that cut in it, but like it loses like a lot of mass as it goes in because of the lack of cuts. So let's see how bad this is. That's pretty rough. So we didn't, so the problem is we don't have a live surface now to kind of keep that rounded. So we lose like a lot of mass. So probably ideally I should go back into live draw, though I've kind of moved things around. So this is still not the greatest approach for it, but I'm gonna take this one. We're basically just gonna cap, I think is gonna work out. So I see people do, you can fill it because it's still an 8-sided, so it's really easy to get it into proper quads at the bottom. It's the same as the shoe actually, at the bottom of the shoe. But say you see into the boot a little bit, kind of like how you see into the glove, like you go like this. And then without giving the entire thing thickness, you kind of go like that and then cap this and then cut it up. Fill. And let's just cap it the right way. So then it'll be here to there, here to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's quads. So that's a quad cap. And then we might just like hold the edges a little bit better. Will this loop? No, really? Well, I can force it to loop later. We could extrude it. Let this part go pretty round at the top. Or we hold it here. I don't know. But definitely here. We're never going to see that, but if we were worried about it like popping through, is the only problem is that these caps should never be seen and they kind of have to not be UV'd. But, you know, from like pretty much all, and then the foot goes in there, you know, you're not going to see it. I think at this point, this is a good base. It's lost mass, but we can kind of bring that back in ZBrush. And then we start sculpting folds into it, basically. And we have this kind of like nice built into it transition back to like a leather heel kind of thing. But that's all it is. It's just a big soft marshmallow to start sculpting into later. So I'm gonna put a strap on it. But we know that it comes from like this like perfectly 8-sided cylinder basically, with a couple hard cuts into it. Topology is a little bit spread out, weird, but maybe a zero. I don't really plan on zero remeshing it, but we could pull this out a little bit. So now I should have gotten the shape right before I put that cap in it, but didn't. Oh, I see. I didn't pull the whole loop. Yeah, definitely get the outside shape before you commit to this. Hopefully not grabbing anything else. Ooh, that's a big pull. Yeah, that pull maybe should have been done in the high poly, but the final shaping and pushing and mushing happens in ZBrush. Because when this comes back from ZBrush, we're not in this mode. It's going to come as like each piece is going to be 100k polygons. So we're going to come back with the ZBrush stuff and then retopo over that again. So the final shape happens in ZBrush. So like even this, just pull it out. Even if it was subdivided, just move it out a tiny bit. So I'm going to add a strap to it. And the strap, I don't really know. Let me look at this thing. I do want something. How does the strap terminate? I don't know. But it's a belt, and we have that. So I don't know. Let's figure it out. And the belt's on the outside. So let's see if my details kit is actually good and usable. File save as boots 3. Hey, oh no, lag, crash, what's this? Maya, why? There it goes. Weird. 3 boots. Still doing boots. So let's look at my details folder. I should have a properly set up belt buckle base kit. Looks good. So I'll duplicate this thing out. Oh, it already popped it out, right? No. Now it's out. Then I'll hide this details again. Should probably put that in a layer. And this is actually boot sub D, and we have to mirror it. Oh, I don't have mirror. I like having mirror up here. Because it takes me so long to find it there. There's mirror options. Put my poly kit here. Negative X. Don't cut. Cut's a problem. Never cut. Instance. That's interesting. Flip. What would flip be? I mean, it should flip it. It's gonna flip it in just the fact that it's mirrored. I don't know what flip means. Combine with original. Merge. No. Nope. No merging. Don't trust. Same thing with cutting. Don't like it. Flip UVs. We haven't UV'd. It doesn't matter. There you go. That's fine. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's fine. It just looks like it's like the foot's turning the wrong direction a little bit. They look like he has 2 left feet, kind of. I didn't model. So like, this should be this should be more like flat. And this should be more like foot shaped. Basically, it almost looks like it's a symmetrical, but oh, I'm just bad at sculpting, I guess. Bad base model. Yeah, basically like this should be like flat, like flatter in here, and then this is round. So this kind of like goes in, and this one goes out, and that's versus they kind of both go out. Okay, I might fix that in the base mesh in a second, but I just want to stick this buckle in there. Okay, so I made this thing. Just a bunch of like really simple low poly. Oh my god, low poly pieces that I can keep fashioning into a belt quickly. Because this model was like all about belts. So in this case, we should probably go for like the overall. We're defining the space. So basically, if I do object translations, I'm defining it's kind of like global. This is like belt space now. So should I define belt space as flat? I don't know what's going to be the most helpful here. I'm not really sure. I'm just going to go for it. But so we're not in object space. We should have been doing this in object. There we go. So now we have like this object normal. Like that. Let's look at where this is. This is like really on the side of the foot here, kind of like middle line coming down. Though we've kind of, I'm not looking at that topology anymore, but it's kind of like here. Like if this is the middle here, it's kind of like here-ish. Okay, the next thing we want to do is scale this thing globally, because that basically art direct to the size of the buckle, and then the strap is the size that it needs to be to fit inside of it already. So it could be like kind of big. It's pretty large, and it's backwards. It's this way. This is the design phase, basically, is how big it is, where is it going, and then the strap part is just kind of like whatever. So this is a pretty hard angle. So really this wants to be pointing down towards like where it will be ending. So it's kind of like this. And it's pretty likely that once I sculpt the boot, this thing's gonna need to get like kind of adjusted. But just get it roughly placed in there. So it's still pretty 45, whereas this one feels like it's more like really almost like that somehow. But it's like around that, like this. And I feel like, is it really, so here's the thing, like this part of the mesh bends when his ankle moves, so definitely wants to be like, so we're gonna say like our, I don't have the skeleton in here, but probably the bone's like here-ish and comes down to here, so it's gonna bend like here. So we're pretty safe, so we could probably even come up a little higher. Probably it bends like right there, and then the way we're gonna come, we have to weight paint these like pretty specifically, which is why I have NG skin tools now with layers. That should do it. So how is that going to terminate? I'm just going to end it here with 2 bolts, just like on this side. I'm going to do the same exact thing on both sides, except this one has the little this thing on it. So now that we're in object space, now we have this kind of set up for us to be kind of easy. This again, and if we move in object space, should be relatively easy. So I should be able to take out this object space, GG's, right? So we can just slide this up here. This piece needs to like end on the boot somehow. Feel more comfortable in Maya deleting faces. Hole. Still in object space, meaning it's easy to do like this. So we'll pull it up so it's not in the sole. It's maybe like a little thick too, but shouldn't really see this. I'll still chuck the bolt in here, even though you won't really see it. So there's that. This bolt will come along eventually, not yet. And then we're gonna wrap this around. Unfortunately, it's already a 3D shape, so that's kind of a little bit more work. But for the first part, it'll be kind of easy to move in component space or object space, but then it'll get harder. But we can start to do this shaping here. Yeah, it doesn't consider that a loop. It's fine. Does this need a merge, perhaps? So no, we still kind of have it. This is for this part. The world space would have been nice to put it normal to this and then flat across. It would have been easier to pull this across, but this is also like live draw territory. Like if this was like a really large surface I was spanning it across, I'd probably go into live draw and just redraw it and then merge it back in, but I'll try to do it this way. What happens here is you lose the like height consistency and it starts looking like a strap. It looks more like jello-y really quickly. Like I've already kind of lost it. So at this point, right, it's like it almost is like flat this way. Yeah, once you start hand transforming stuff, it doesn't look, it's not gonna look right in the end. I'll do my best with it. Yeah, live drawing it, you get to like kind of draw the perfect like arc that you want out of it too. And unless we go high poly, there's always going to be intersections, so we'll rely on the smoothing to kind of fix that. And again, this space now is like kind of like not helpful, but it's like kind of helpful. Start to, oh my god, oh no. Yeah, we don't have a space anymore to transform in. But placing the buckle was probably the most important part, or to have like a proper space. It's not so bad, kind of because I modeled this very symmetrically. See now with the, yeah. Start to turn it this way. Yeah, like this is just wrecked across the axis. It's just a shoe though. And we'll just end around here. What space is this? I'm gonna go back to world. Oh god, this is like fully freestyle. Yeah, this is the problem with doing this with like a 3D shapes. It's easier in 2D to get it right and then extrude it and then it is right. Yeah, what the... Okay, where's this thing end? Oh, this ends like all the way at the bottom. We'll just... I'm gonna have it end here. Here. Something very weird with the... something feels like kind of terribly wrong. These the way it's shading it seems very broken, but I can fix it. I can fix it. It's an easy enough shape. Weird. And I'll just kind of push this back towards here. So they're just kind of like rectangles across. This piece is like... And then again, we're gonna smooth this and do it in ZBrush to do like the final placements, but we want to get close, and we're also gonna do the thickening here, which might be a mistake, but at least this thing's object space is correctly aligned. They have two ones. I'm just gonna do one. Bolt. And the tangency of this is pretty off. Oh, careful, this one. Oof. There's some weird shading going on here. Okay, let's see if like this can smooth properly. I'm a little afraid for this piece, to be honest. Like, let's see if this deletes anything. Oh, I don't have the thing. How do you get that back? I usually show frame per second. Is it up here, or polys? Vertex size. Where is vertex count? You set it up once and then forget forever. There's a way to view how many polygons are on the screen. I'll have to find that. Well, I have to Google it the same way I normally find it, but we'll just see how this goes. I'm very concerned about this. This seems very wrong. Like, what? Like, it feels like there's like two polys, or there's like a weird face in there, or... Let me just try deleting something. 1 second. Yeah, what the fuck? Well, we'll see what happens when we smooth it. I guess we could look now, actually. We would know now. This is like a good way of checking if things are broken. That's fine. Just a weird shading thing, I guess. This one doesn't have it, though. There's something wrong with the normals on this. Something's wrong. That these split. These are gradients. Is it this? Is it... No. Very odd. I've done something wrong, probably. I don't know what. That's not supposed to happen. Is it smooth normals? Something's wrong with the way I've been extruding these pieces. Something's off. I don't know what. Kind of want to find out, though. Is there a harden, soften? Soften definitely changes it in a bad way. Something's wrong with the normals on this. I don't know what. Shouldn't really matter. Oh my god. Okay, now we're in like a really odd spot. Okay. I should probably sort this out though right here. Polygons, face normals. What? No? Okay. Do I have to select them? No. Display, polygons, face normals. Normal size. They're not even there. Are there... What's wrong with this piece? What is going on? I'm gonna jump out of solo and back. What's wrong with this? Is there something in here? I'm gonna pull the history out for the... Where'd my shelf go? Where's my shelf? Uh-oh, I've done things. Bad things. Where'd the... Is it in here? Where's the shelf? I don't know how you get rid of that. I could reset probably. But I like this. Well, I need that back. I don't know where it is. It's one of these windows. Editors. There it is. Boom. Okay, come on. What happened here? Well, What am I even trying to do? Oh, I'm trying to kill the history on this piece. That doesn't help. Well, okay, well, we're gonna gate it and hopefully things are fine. Things are definitely not fine though, so they're very wrong. Let this go a little round, which I could pull these edges out too. I don't even know if it needs this, but I'll put it all the way around. And it needs that. And this part's fine to go around, I think. As long as it's fine here, we're just gonna retopo it anyway. Is there a subdiv right there? There must be, yeah. Okay, so we'll just pull this up just to make the sculpting a little bit closer. And is it done? 3W, no, W, there we go. World space should be fine for this, just go like that. Because we're gonna subdivide. And all these other pieces should be fine to subdivide already. That was the idea, making them. This one doesn't even need to be subdivided, but oh, actually that one doesn't subdivide at all. That one needs to be gated, but I guess we'll go do that. It's just a little rectangle. Oops, that's definitely not what we're trying to do. This. This will loop all the way around right in the middle. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's duplicate this thing across. I'm not really sure how to get pieces like this back to ZBrush in a timely order fashion, so I might go Z off stream and kind of mess around with that. Because that would be the next phase. With the body guy, just like hit it basically, right? Uh-oh. We never did anything with that one, huh? And the pants are in here? Oh, those are the boots. Oh, so the shirt is still, that's fine. I'm gonna start, that'll subdivide fine. I'll start sculpting on it. We also don't ever see the edges of either one of these, so we don't have to thicken it or anything like that. Where'd the body go? Did I delete it? I probably deleted it by accident or something. Strap in short. I need to mirror this whole thing. Can you mirror an entire group? I feel like that's a polygon operation. Find out. Nope. That's a polygon operation. So I have to basically, I don't want to merge it. I just have to mirror each piece itself. Can I do this? That works. Okay, easy, fine. Just do it locally, basically. These are fine. These are sub D. I think I deleted the body. Those are the subdivision boots. Subdivision. So I'm just gonna color them, and I think I deleted the body. Oh no, here it is. Never mind. It's hidden with the cameras. I think these are in low poly phase. Still, I could still come and like try to pull them away from the body a little bit, just because like this render makes me a little bit sad. Though like a lot of sculpting and forming is gonna happen in ZBrush for these. Oh, it's not symmetry. Wow, I'm just fucking this. I just want to fix this for the damn render because this is like kind of like a key point in the process that's over now. Symmetry world X. Let's hop in here. Yeah, these whole things just need to be like kind of pulled. Oh my god, pulled away from the body. Once we start sculpting folds into it, all this stuff is like just, this is all base mesh stuff. Don't really want to get these too close to each other, but should be okay. I also learned how to skin this properly in Edgy Tools. So I'm not that worried about this. I'm more worried about the hands. Hands is going to be kind of a problem. Okay. Oh yeah, so the feet, I I'm going to duplicate this. We really only need the head at this point. Like nothing from the actual body should be showing through. I'll keep that. I'm going to just slice off the feet so that this part looks fine. Oh, and that too. Kill that. We don't really, all we need is the head for the MetaHuman. We won't need any piece from the body. This has all just been like kind of reference. Oh, I never flipped over the, this. I'm gonna flip that too. So how many pieces is this? This. Oh, and these are gonna have to get like, actually I think they're all their own mesh, so I should be able to just flip them. And then I gotta come organize and clean things up and name them properly to send them to ZBrush. Big organization project to send this to ZBrush and then send all of it right back to Substance Painter after. So they're all mesh. I'm gonna have to come and rename them and stuff, but actually, if I group it first, this will help a little bit. It merged them. That's fine. That's fine too. Okay. So I'm just gonna color these, and that's it for today. Glad that Maya works, or is working. Straps are blue too. Sole is, we'll just say leather. Those are metal. So this. Oh, they merged them. Nice. I'm glad they merged them. Actually, that's good. Okay, I missed these straps apparently. Wait, is the low poly in there or something like that? What's this? I see. They're just all merged into this piece. I see. Okay, that's fine. They're the same. This should be metal. We missed that piece. This should be leather. And then this should be metal. This is metal. And then just to look at it. Ooh, the bottom is kind of a thing to select. Can I select it this way? Oh, it's symmetrical. Oh, we have symmetry on. That's nice. So we can just paint away. Oh, never mind that. I hope I didn't. What was I just doing? I meant to tab select. This is just for making my little renders. But I think oh, you know what? I'm missing one thing that I'm going to do tomorrow. I guess technically this top edge is also leather, but be fine. Leather 1. I'm missing, and the swords too, but yeah, we sculpt, the shoes are sculpted and that you can't tell what size which. But the last details I'm going to add tomorrow, which is basically the same thing I did to these, is there's a strap here and here, and then we mirror it across, and then sub-D modeling is all done. Took a while, but that's the whole model, and then everything else is literally just everything we do in ZBrush and whatnot is just details. Like it's just making it so we could finish with this possibly. But the ZBrush phase is kind of fun. Okay, so here we are in full ass Maya with our character out. Very smooth and generic finishes, because all the folds and fun stuff is oh, how come it's black? Well, the normals flipped on this or something. There's some weird normal stuff happening with these. I don't know what this is. I need to get my poly count. I need to go set up my Maya and stuff a little bit off stream. Get this back right. What the F? Just try it straight up reverse. But transitioned into full Maya, so that's good. So clean up, add straps, sub-D would be done then. And send it to ZBrush, sculpt folds, add stitching. I could add the stitching here, it'd be kind of insane. I would place every stitch. I would consider that. Here there's not something, there's 48. Here there's like hundreds, so it's like so I'm going to try to do stitching,
Damien standard on this stuff. A little bit of like hand wearing on that. Cloth folds, cloth fold, cloth fold, cloth fold, leather fold, leather fold, folds, folds. That's it. I should spend a day, maybe two, adding folds, adding stitching. That's it. Stitches need to come back as mesh so we can vertex color them. And the boots and the gloves will also have some like bigger picture sculpting happening on them. Maybe just a little bit. They're just like super generic looking, like skin tight stuff at the moment. Doesn't look that great. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a couple screenshots of this thing. Can you change the field of view in the default camera? Probably. I probably shouldn't though. Okay, well I guess I'm gonna take the screenshots. So tomorrow or next time I'm gonna come finish up the high poly, rename everything, hopefully get my Maya set up correctly, and then hopefully have Go Z and sculpt it in ZBrush. So that'll be next time. Peace.